My name is Nedu. I'm your forex coach. I'm the CEO of Profit Plus Trading Academy, the best trading academy in the whole Africa. Right now, I'm doing a video. Pay very close attention. This is signal video on USOIL. So I'm going to be combining information, data coming from fundamental and technical analysis to provide a good lead into taking one of the best profitable trades you've had in recent times. Firstly, we go technical. This 2-hour time frame, you observe that this market is very obvious that this market is bearish. It's making series of higher highs and higher lows. All right, making breaks of structures here and there. This is a break of structure. All right, price pushed back to make a new low. All right, it pulled up and then it made another low here. This is the low. So here is a break of structure here. And why this break of structure, we've identified on this 2-hour time frame a supply zone. Here's a supply zone that led to this break of structure, and price is coming gradually. Okay, and it has tapped into the supply zone. Our expectation is price to move but down, targeting this low first. This is the part of the technical perspective. We've seen the supply zone very good and is fresh, is untested until right here. Price has tested the supply, and expectation is for price, to move all the way down. Now, on the other side of it, we have fundamental information that have been responsible for this downtrend that you saw on the chart. And that is the bleak of hope on US-Iran war trade deal. It's been lingering for some time now. And whenever there is hope for the deal, price makes, a strong, move downwards. Okay, when it escalates, price pushes back up. So if you have been following this trade deal, you observe that. Let me show here. This is Haystack News. They bring breaking news on both political, economic information around the world. So in this case, look at here, U.S. negotiations in Doha. Negotiators in
to the Middle East now, where the U.S. has sent a negotiating team to Qatar to begin technical talks with Iran.
So there are negotiations. Negotiation gives a hope of an agreement. So they both Iran and US have been breaking the terms of the deal. Iran just struck some some hours ago. That was yesterday. Some of the US military bases in the Gulf states. Okay, so right now we are seeing a hope for a deal coming from the fundamental perspective. Negotiations going on in Doha, Qatar, and when that negotiation is giving a hope of a deal, it should lead into a deal or a temporary deal or a ceasefire, temporary ceasefire to an extent. And when the temporary ceasefire situation shows up, this war has created a lot of supply issues, scarcity in the market. So several supply issues, and of course, you know that when supply is disrupted, okay, demand will be too high, and then price definitely will go up. Short supply is low, price will be high. That's common economics. All right. So since we have that as a fundamental driver, something in the background that should drive this price from here downwards, we're going to look at our entry model around this supply area, around this area, price behavior. So one can actually take a trade, okay, from here, and then you can put your stop loss slightly above the supply zone, and then target the low. So one can just take a trade like that, but then this is just the set and forget trade, or maybe an instant trade you're taking because price has hit the supply and is currently reacting at the supply zone. Okay, but I may not advise you to immediately take a trade. We're going to wait for a confirmation, and that confirmation will move our time frame. We're going to use Wyckoff confirmation, and that will be something like this. Price is retreating back to the zone. Okay, hits the zone, comes back, break this low, which is a change of character, returns back into any supply zone that forms there, then for it to push all the way down. Okay, we're also going to experience a break of trend line, price changing character here. Okay, pushes up this exact Wyckoff model for trade entries. All right, so we're going to move to 5 minutes time frame. In the 5 minutes time frame, you're going to see this my supply zone, but I put these two horizontal lines to mark the area. So let's move to 5 minutes time frame. Now on the 5 minutes time frame, that supply area is here and here. So this point and this point. So you can see here that while price is moving into the zone, you can see when it moves into the zone, it's giving us this higher high, higher low. This is a high, a low, high, then a low, then this is a high. So I'm expecting this to happen. Price will push, break this low, and then come into the zone. You can see this long candle come into this area, and then we strike. All right, something like this is what we're expecting to happen. Here is a low, here is a low, like that, and then we want to make a low that is lower than this low, which is what we call a change of character. So we have a change of character here. At this point, set price to move back up. You can also at this point look at, I can identify supply. See one supply there. So I can also use my Fibonacci retracement from this high to this low to check whether it is in the discount zone, and of course the supply is in the discount zone. So a lot of waiting would be required, and you can also set a trade dependent order, which should be um, a sell limit at this point somewhere here, and you're not going to go all the way this high. Okay, we can just take all that and then drag down to our target area, which is here, this line. This is the current low. This is the current low. All right, so let me remove this trend line. So we're going to target price, expect the market to move all the way down, break this low, and then travel back into this identified supply area, and this will happen. And that will be an estimated. Let's check how many pips this should give us from here all the way down. Let me make it well. This is very huge from here to this point, around 250 pips. 250 pips expected for this market to pull all the way down. Okay, let's see how this plays out. So watch it closely. Those who are in my VIP signal room, I'm going to drop the exact entry when the market gives it to us. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.